Update. Am I the a-hole for winning a couple of million on the lottery and giving half to my ex before I met my current girlfriend? Original post. So I'm 35 male and was with my ex from school until 5 years ago. We have a child together too that we both co-parent really well. We never fall out and with each other, but the love and attraction has all gone. She cheated on me, but there's more to the story than that, and it's not all on her. 2 years ago, I happened to win around £4 million on the lottery. My first thought was my child. I wanted him to grow up with an equal life like he has mine, and the less stress his parents have, the less stress he has. I decided to split the win with my ex. We have both been sensible with the money. I quit my job as a mechanic, took my sports and football coaching badges, and with a friend, we started a business going around primary schools doing classes in all sorts of sports and fitness, and also helping out local sports clubs and teams with coaching and methods, etc. It will never make us rich, but we make around 1.5 times the national average wage. I bought a £300,000 house and a £40,000 car, and that's about it. My ex opened up a beauty salon that's doing really well and also bought herself a house. I met my current girlfriend on a night out around 6 months ago. Things have been going well. She knows I won the lottery, and that's why I've got a nicer house and car than my income will normally provide, and why I like to go away on a couple of nice holidays a year. She's never asked for anything from me materially and kept insisting on covering half the dates, despite me offering to pay every time. We are getting more serious, but nowhere near moving in or anything like that, or her meeting my son yet. It all came to a head last week when the subject of my ex came up and my girlfriend said how nice her beauty salon is. We were with a couple of my friends, and one of them said, "It should be nice. Sam paid for it." She asked what he was talking about, and before I could answer, my friend said he gave her 2 million quid. My girlfriend was quiet for the rest of the night, and then when we got back to mine, she exploded and said I was still in love with her. And that's why I gave her the money, that I wasn't normal, that no wonder a lottery winner only lives in a house like this and drives a crappy car. When I gave half away, that I was a gullible simp, how embarrassed she is by me, how we could be set for life with that money and never work again, etc., etc. It went on for so long before I told her to leave, as I'm going to bed and not listening to this anymore. I haven't seen her since, and she hadn't answered my calls or replied to my messages, apart from the odd insult. Until today, when she said the only way she could stay with me is to ask my ex for whatever money she has left to be returned to me so she can save face. I told her no, and I'm done with her. She again accused me of trying to buy back my ex, and I blocked her. Is this going to be a problem I have with other women going forward? Am I the a-hole for this? Now for the top comments before reading the update. You did a good thing for the benefit of your child and your child's mother. Well done. Current girlfriend, though, sounds like she was just after your money from the beginning. I agree, but it's surprising as she never asked for anything before. Even when her car broke down and I fixed it, she tried to offer me money for it. She was playing the long game, brother. That's why she erupted in anger, because she realized she made a bad bet that wasn't going to pay off like she was plotting. That's what my friend said. He said she was going to act like this until she had her feet under the table. Laughing out loud. It may be a problem for other women you date going forward, but that's a good weed-out method. Someone who properly loves you will see that you're a good man who took care of the mother of his child and ensured that both of you can have a good life, even though you're no longer together. I think it's a green flag. Thank you so much for putting my mind at ease. I was starting to think I'd done something wrong, but I didn't know what. Some people will say you did too much, but at the time of your win, you and your ex had only been separated for a couple of years. And if you had won it when you were still together, you would have split it 50-50. I imagine it makes a lot of things easier for you as a co-parent knowing that you split the win with her, since she can never really say that you owe her anything for your child, and your child is well provided for. It just felt right, because what's the point in my son having one rich parent and one struggling parent? Now for the update. Just a quick update as I got a lot of nice comments and messages on my original post. She unblocked me and asked for forgiveness, but I said no, it's gone too far. And for me, it's over. She didn't take it very well, and I got bombarded with abusive messages for a day or two, but they've stopped today, as have the phone calls from a withheld number. A few people asked on the last post why I gave my ex half, rather than put it in savings for our kid. Between us, we have nearly $1 million that we have put aside for him that cannot be touched and will earn interest over the years. As for the cheating, which a lot of people mentioned, we were each other's first for everything, and we talked about it and both admitted a few years we felt a touch of regret. We both agreed to threesomes, so over the course of the next year or so, we did it with a few men and a few women. Unfortunately, she ended up catching feelings for one of the men. Not the end of the world and no reason for us to fall out. I can honestly say that you appear to be a good person. Good on you for standing up for yourself and not take that sort of abuse. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. You're a green flag, and in revealing so, you've weeded out a red flag. I'd almost suggest keeping your lotto win quiet for the next girlfriend, but in a way, now you know how to work out quickly if someone's with you for your money. I wish you success with finding love and your sports program. That really sounds cool. Thank you. I love the sports program. Yesterday, a mom came up to me and said how much her son is enjoying it, and he's having a birthday party next weekend, and when she asked who he wanted to invite, the first person he said was Coach Daniel. I'll be honest, it had me tearing up LOL. You're a real man. You know that, right? Like a real good one. Sacrificing half your wealth for the betterment of your child was a real power move in the realm of maturity, in my opinion. I think your kid is going to have a significantly more stable life because of your decision and receive the myriad of mental health benefits that accompany that. Be proud of yourself and screw the gold digger. Someone like that isn't worth a second thought to a man of your caliber. You're making me blush, lol. Thank you. Money is like a good litmus test for dating, to be honest. I had a guy whom I grew up with and knew came from a wealthy family test me on a first date regarding money. I passed but felt too uncomfortable to continue seeing him. He said it worked really well in the past, and I'm sure he needed to do tests like that, but the fact that we'd known each other more than a decade and he tested me was super uncomfortable. But he met someone who passed, and they're doing great from what I understand, so great for them. Have friends that come from money, and their dating game is so annoyingly complicated. They have to sniff out the gold diggers, but also the people who would bring about negative attention to their family's businesses, the people who wouldn't be able to adjust to their lifestyle, etc. It's no wonder many of them just prefer to move to Europe or North America, reinvent themselves as a trust fund babies, and just shack up with someone who has no clue about their generational wealth. Next story. Am I the a-hole for skipping a family party because I didn't want to see my half-sister or her dad who hate me for being an affair baby? I, 17 female, have a half-sister, 19 female. I always knew she had a dad and I didn't, but when we were 5 and 7, she started telling me she wished I had never been born and she hated me. And her dad hated me because I was an affair baby. Our mom thought we were close, and she hoped being close in age meant that stuff would never be an issue. But my half-sister heard about it from her dad when it was his parenting time. He told her to make sure I never used anything he bought for her. She told me about that. She said anything that her dad bought her was for her, and her dad would puke if I used them. Whenever mom or someone else in our family called us sisters, she'd get mad at me and say I wasn't her sister, and she'd yell at me when no adults were around. I ended up telling our mom what was happening when I was 7. And even then, I felt conflicted because I hoped she'd like me and knew she'd hate me more for telling. Mom tried to do stuff we'd both like, and she would praise whenever we could sit and get along, even though my half-sister was just waiting until mom wasn't around to be mean. When she got a little older, she started doing a bunch more activities, and there were more chances for me to see her dad when mom would take me along to support my half-sister. He was rude or gross to me. There was a time he told me not to look at him because I wasn't his kid, and he called my mom a whore and said that's what I was destined to be too. There were so many incidents with him, and my mom knew about those, and she'd get to fights with him. That made my half-sister angry, and it kind of built until she was 13, and told mom that she didn't care that her dad was awful to me, and I was a gross affair baby, and neither of them should need to be around me. My half-sister chose to live with her dad when she turned 16, and she didn't come to Mom's at all. My mom tried to fight for custody and intensive therapy, but lost because of how old my sister was. I saw my half-sister at school, and she took every chance to be mean and nasty to me. Our extended family knew about everything, but because Mom cheated, they had kept in touch with my half-sister's dad and always included him in stuff, but he'd decline. Now he's accepting stuff, and I saw them twice in the last year. So when another family party came up yesterday, I chose not to go. My mom and family tried to make me go, but I said I didn't want to be around my half-sister or her dad. They told me it was the wrong decision and I shouldn't let them keep me from my family. But I don't want to be subjected to their hate for me anymore. I'll never have a sister. He'll never just ignore me, which would be way easier. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Tell your mom flat out. That being forced to hang out with your sister is cruel, and she needs to stop punishing you for adult mistakes. Not the a-hole. She's forcing you to endure abuse to soothe her guilt, not your problem. She's putting her comfort over OP's safety, and that's not OP's burden to fix. Not the a-hole. Your mom and her dad are the a-holes. Your mom for cheating and creating this situation, as well as not protecting you, and her dad for treating an innocent child this way, and for brainwashing his daughter into believing you're the enemy. I feel bad for you and your sister. What could have been a healthy and supportive relationship was destroyed by these two terrible human beings. Don't go to these get-together if they're going to be there. Protect your peace. Protect your peace and skip the family gatherings. Who needs that kind of chaos when you could be binge-watching something way more entertaining? Did your mom ever told you what happened to your real father? She let me contact him. He doesn't want anything to do with me and considers me a mistake he made. Just curious, did they do DNA testing to be sure who is your father? If not, I'll do that at least to be sure who it is. Not only monetary, but for medical reasons as well. Of course, not the a-hole. Yes, he's on my birth certificate and everything as a result, and I read the official papers that said as much. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my cousin have my old car, even though my aunt says I owe the family for being successful? I, 26 male, work in tech and recently bought my first new car. It's nothing crazy, just a reliable sedan. My old car, a 2009 Civic, still runs, but has a ton of miles on it. I plan to sell it cheap or trade it in. So my aunt, who's my mom's sister, heard about the new car through our family group chat. She texted me saying her son, 19 male, could really use a starter car and asked when I could drop it off. There was no question about buying it. It was just straight up asking when I could give it to them. I told her I wasn't planning to just give it away, but I'd sell it at a reasonable price. It's not worth much, but I've taken good care of it. And it's mine. She immediately got snippy and said I make enough money now. She insisted it wouldn't kill me to do something nice for my cousin. Honestly, she's always had this weird resentment toward me for getting out of our small town and doing well. Her tone turned passive-aggressive really fast. She said things like, "Some of us didn't get handed life on a silver platter, even though I worked full-time through college and took out loans." Now she's telling the rest of the family I'm selfish and that I've forgotten where I came from. Even my mom gently suggested I should consider giving them the car just to avoid drama. But I don't think I owe anyone a free car just because I make a decent income now. I offered to sell it fairly, they refused, and I left it at that. So, am I the a-hole? Trust me, you should sell it to someone else. Save yourself the headache. With that kind of entitlement, any little thing that happens with the car in the future is going to come back to haunt you. Well, OP, you shouldn't have sold it if the tires need changing, so you should pay for brand new ones now. So what if my darling Precious has had it for 2 years and put 78,000 miles on it since we got it? And the worst part is, if the car ever breaks down, they'd go crying to the whole family again about how I screwed them over with a junk car. Lose-lose situation. That's exactly what will happen. Instead, you send a message about how it really sucks that it broke down the other day and the mechanic said the whole transmission is shot. A new one would be worth more than a car, plus all the other issues they found. But hey, you were able to junkyard scrap it for $300, so you were at least able to cover the tow. Guess you were lucky to get your new car when you did, and that you didn't give that piece of junk to your cousin. Those are exactly the type of people you should never give anything to, no matter how small. The fact that they are family and feel entitled to the fruits of your hard work already will slowly get worse and worse, with more expectations, as soon as they realize the guilt trip works. Wouldn't kill you to do something nice for a 19-year-old kid who hasn't done anything yet to deserve it? Just respond, "You're his mom." Wouldn't kill you to work a few more jobs like I did and buy it for him. And wouldn't have killed you to use birth control if you didn't want to pay yourself for whatever you wanted to give to your kid. And on a practical note, if they can't afford the price of a 2009 Civic, they definitely can't afford to do whatever repairs it will probably need in the next few years. And they'll lean on you for that, or blame you for giving them a crappy car. Your mom is way out of line. You need to tell her that she raised someone who learned that you don't get stuff unless you work hard and earn it. If she cares about her nephew, she should have the same attitude for him. You're 26, so already a full, well-established adult. You no longer need to take disrespect from your aunt just because your grandfather and grandmother chose to have 2 kids. As an adult, everyone, including family, needs to earn your respect every day. Oh, if they say they'll buy it and pay you slowly for it, don't do it. They won't. And they'll use it for 6 months. And then when it needs a repair that they can't afford, they'll just stop payments and blame it on the old car you sold them.